What's happening, guys? LightningSnow back today with another video. Today I told y'all that I was going to do a separate, different kind of video today. I usually don't do Boruto at all, but today I wanted to go ahead and ease on into that era a little bit to start doing some Boruto videos. And what better video than to do a free-for-all of Team 7, the OG Team 7. And with me, I don't have one, but I have two guests on the channel for today's video, both Sage of the Thick Calves and Loco. Y'all say, everybody.
Yes sir. Thank you for having me on, dude. It's always good to make some magic with you, bro.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm glad to be here.
So this is my first like three-way of a video, so I'm not used to doing this, so I'm hoping to have more videos like this in the future. So I was gonna need some help with this one because this is also my very first free-for-all in a video. I'm usually used to doing 1v1 to 1v5, but I've never really done a free-for-all, and I thought, well, what better video topic, again, like the OG Team 7. So in context, what we're going to do specifically, because I'm pretty sure y'all could probably guess on the thumbnail a little bit, that we're going to be discussing a specific kind. We're going to be discussing Naruto and Sasuke after they lose their respective power-ups, per se, i.e. Kurama and the Rinnegan. Like maybe a week or so after, that way they're kind of, you know, at 100% per se. And then obviously the Sakura that we see in Kakashi. I realize that for those people who may not consider the novels canon, that this may not be your cup of tea, but just for the context, we are going to be pulling some sources from every direct, ones that seem credible, ones that may not agree with, just to let you know, for example, like novel, manga, anime, just to make sure, the data books, just to make sure we kind of do justice to this fight, because this is a very tricky fight to do. So, I think that's all. Sage or Loco, you got anything to say?
No, I'm just excited to jump in, dude. This is a really interesting topic, so glad to be a part of it, and looking forward to maybe you know, it's spitting some facts that people weren't aware of, you know.
For sure, Loco.
Facts. We're gonna be getting this three-way is gonna be hot and spicy. We got a lot cooking up for y'all, you know.
For sure. So Battlefield just gonna be like maybe out like in a desert somewhere away from the Elite Village, because this fight could really endanger some people. We don't want any casualties. So like we said, this one, they're starting fresh, 100%. Now, one thing that we had to discuss first, how like strong we thought Naruto was, because it was brought up in our conversation before we started recording that, in theory, Naruto should still have at least some residual chakra of the other tail from. We've never really seen any of them outside of like Killer Bee, or like the Eight Tails or whatever, but it's never really mentioned where anyone else are at or what they're doing. So I can only assume that they're still kind of residing within Naruto and the meeting place. We kind of established that Kurama was like the mediator, and that Naruto himself was like the meeting place. So even though he's lost Kurama, at the very least, he should still have Red Tail Beast chakra from. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of a huge misconception that he doesn't have the Bijou chakra at all in Boruto, much less like when Kurama leaves. So it's really never shown that he doesn't have them anymore. Like Kurama wasn't the reason why they're all together. So I definitely still think he has all of the Bijou chakra 1 through 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just as a quick note, it wouldn't, like, that statement from Sakura about, in the anime, about him not having superhuman levels of chakra anymore, that wouldn't even necessarily apply in terms of the other Bijou, because he doesn't, like, he's not consistently having a full Bijou level of chakra inside of him from them. He's just able to, like, manually pull on those reserves whenever he needs to. So I know a lot of people have brought that up. That's just in regards to Kurama, and potentially in regards to his own chakra levels, but not to the actual other Bijou themselves.
For sure. So, Loco, you want to like touch up on Sasuke and how strong we think Sasuke is right now?
Of course. So me personally, I am a big Sasuke fanboy, but I'm gonna be as impartial as possible. So going into this, right? Obviously, we are talking about Sasuke without the Rinnegan loss, and I think I should address that all the way back in Shippuden. It's still relevant that Obito did state that the Rinnegan provided him with an extremely powerful and potent chakra that he could barely like handle. Bro was going insane off of just having one Rinnegan during the war arc, and Sasuke should have an even stronger Rinnegan than that, which he obviously lost. And we know that Shinobi use their chakra to like amp their jutsu, their movement speed, their physical strength. So you can easily argue that Sasuke actually not only lost the Rinnegan, but quite a little bit of speed and strength as well. but at the same time, he's still pulling off some crazy feats even while weakened. Like back in the Fuse Momoshiki fight, he teleported like 8 or 9 people to Momo's dimension, and he's still being relative to like 6-pass Sage Mode adult Naruto and boxing with Fuse Momo. So I mean, I don't know if you think the Rinnegan took off like half of his chakra, like similar to like Momo saying that he drained like half of Naruto's chakra, but at the very least, I personally believe that Sasuke fighting against Momoshiki would probably be weaker than the one that lost the Rinnegan, you know, because it's an actual quantifiable amount that he lost right there. So I do still think Sasuke is strong despite having this this nerf to his jutsus and his physical strength.
Sure. And so, Sage, you want to touch upon Kakashi, current Kakashi?
Yeah, I just want to say I totally agree with everything that he just said. A lot of people sort of downplay Sasuke, and you know, it's worth noting he does still have the majority of his abilities, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But he's not trash. You know, he's very, very strong. And the same thing goes with Kakashi. I mean, a lot of people have issues accepting the canonicity of the novels, but I'm just gonna get through this very quickly. Kishimoto and Shueisha, the company that he works with, the publisher, they co-own the IP for Naruto, meaning those are the only two entities that get to decide what is and what isn't canon. And Shueisha published a canon timeline with all of these novels, the Retsuden, Hiden, etc. And you actually get to see at the end of chapter 700, in the final page of chapter 700, they have a promotional page talking about the continuation of the Naruto series in Kakashi Hiden, the boy and whatever, but Lightning in the Snow or whatever it's called. So in the Naruto novels, or in Shueisha's actual canon timeline, we know that they confirm it's canon, and then in the actual manga, it's confirmed canon. So I just need to get that out of the way before we address his feats, because Kakashi is an absolute monster. In the official Viz translation, it actually talks about how his chakra has increased by orders of magnitude, meaning at least 2 orders of magnitude, which is 100 times. So he's got 100 times more chakra than he did when he fought Obito and Madara. He's also in Kakashi Hiden able to, perception blitz a woman named Kayo, who perception blitzed Raikage A. So it's like his speed is on a whole different tier as well. And he's able to do things like keep up a mud wall around an entire country for a day and a half. So this dude is absolutely busted, and that's not even getting into him pretty definitively scaling to or around base Kashin Koji, who's a monster in and of himself. So Sasuke is no joke. Naruto is no joke, and neither is Kakashi. So there's not going to be something. It's not going to be something where like he's so weak that he just gets folded immediately,
For sure. So and I want to cover Sakura real quick, because I know, personally to me, I like Sakura in Boruto. I think she's a lot more reliable than she's ever been in the series. And I say that very, strongly, because I really do think that Sakura in Boruto is nothing to go. You don't want to go. So, obviously, top-notch medical. She should be leagues stronger than Tsunade was, even in the war arc. So, yeah, her 100 healings, Katsuyu, her performance against Shin is probably one of my favorite fights ever. So, there's no, this fight, this 3-way fight, is for the record books, or this 4-way fight. So, we kind of came to the consensus that if they all start, from square one, round, fight, whatever, that obviously from Naruto's perspective, Sasuke is his rival always, so he'll probably go after Sasuke first, which would just leave Sakura and Kakashi toe-to-toe with each other. And as I've just said, as strong as this Sakura, the problem with Kakashi is that he just has so much verse. And even Sage and Loco are in agreement that if Sakura punches any of them, not just Kakashi, but if she lands a punch on Naruto, Sasuke, or Kakashi, they are done. They're vapor.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say you're gonna see them there, and then they're just gonna be gone. It's just gonna be a cloud of red dust.
Yeah.
We don't want to downplay Sakura here. She is super strong. So I just want to reinforce that.
Loco, you got anything?
Honestly, I don't know. Personally, I'm a manga purist for the Boruto stuff, so I'm not too aware of what she does in the anime or what she does in the novels. All I know is that she's not present there. But from what I've heard from my boys right here, they're telling me that she just absolutely slammed them if she gets her hands on them. But would she actually be able to get her hands on them is the case.
Yeah, and
100%.
as we said, like, you know, speed scaling wise, I feel like they're pretty safe. Naruto has top-notch sentry with Sage mode. Sasuke has a Sharingan, and Kakashi has been shown in the novels to be relative to the fourth Raikage. So, in theory, and as it stands, I don't think she'd be able to definitively land a clean, you know, punch on Kakashi, or any of them for that matter. So if we're going, and again, like, Kakashi has versatility. I mean, his purple lightning in itself has versatility. He can use it as a defense mechanism from his own body, similar to how Sasuke uses Chidori Stream as like a defense move. So if she gets too close to actually hitting Kakashi, and as we said, like, with this, Kakashi has a plethora of chakra. He can draw as much as he needs to really have Shiden make a strong impact, even in his defensive state. So again, like, I don't know. And even worst case, well, I'll get into that later, but so I don't think that Sakura can necessarily get the kill on Kakashi. I think he has too much versatility. You know, he has too many jutsus that he can use at his disposal. I mean, Shiden alone is going to be enough of a problem for Sakura to actually land, because he can use it, again, as a defense, long range, close range, even if he wants to. I mean, again, as smart as Kakashi is, he's not going to go toe-to-toe with Sakura, shot her from a distance. As strong as Sakura is, I'm assuming she's going to get taken out by Kakashi at some point. Loco, Sage, you got anything about that?
Yeah, no, I would totally agree, because I do think, like you guys said, in character, I think Naruto and Sasuke go after one another because they're, you know, kind of just rivals. You know, they see each other that way. So then it does come down to a fight between Kakashi and Sakura. And at the end of the day, you know, her regen is crazy. Like, she's able to regenerate limbs in the novels and stuff. Like, she's insane. But somebody like Kakashi, who can fight at long range and also has crazy combat speed, is just her worst nightmare, because what she wants is somebody that she can land a blow on and finish the fight quickly, and you can't do that if somebody is verifiably faster than you and can keep you at bay. And the only jutsu that we've talked about from him so far is the Shinden, the purple electricity, which should be able to cut her in half, but that's not the only thing he has in his arsenal either. Like, he's got the fire style water mist jutsu that was able to counter a six paths tool that is designed to unleash an amount of water that can flood an entire country, and this water is made of six paths chakra. So just for reference, Kakashi is able to counter a country level attack with just his regular fire style, even though that country level attack is water and it's made of six paths chakra. Yeah. So, like, I just don't think that she has what it takes to even get close to him with him firing those at her. And even if she does, he's fast enough to get out of the way. So I think this one wraps up pretty quickly. But the one that's more interesting to me is Naruto versus Sasuke. So what do you guys think about how that's going to be going?
Loco, what you got?
Real quick, I think that the Sakura stands are absolutely going to be going crazy over what Sage just said, but he was spinning facts right there. Yeah. I know that some of you might be thinking about quoting a statement from the data books about, like, apparently, supposedly, Sakura is stated to be on the level of Naruto and Sasuke, but if we're being totally honest, this statement doesn't necessarily have to mean that she's on their level. It only says that she's trying to catch up to them, or that she's training herself very hard to eventually catch up to them. It doesn't outright state that she's on their level yet. And even if you're bringing up, like, well, wouldn't she just be able to regenerate from all of Kakashi's attacks? It's actually stated that Creation Rebirth, or 100 Healings, cannot regen. Like, you cannot regen from life-threatening, serious wounds. Like, you can like regen like minor stuff. I guess, like, she can regenerate limbs in the novels. I didn't know about that. That's pretty impressive. But, like, of course, Tsunade wasn't able to regen an extra half of her body when Madara bisected her. Yeah. So it's kind of like she probably, most likely, she's gonna lose to Kakashi. Like, let's be honest here. So yeah. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents about that. Hopefully, hopefully nobody really got too mad about that one.
No, I don't think people will. Well, because, I mean, let's be honest, for everyone who doesn't know, Kakashi at this point also knows some pretty top-notch. Now, it's nowhere near Sakura's level, but the fact that Kakashi's actually matched, pretty impressive, and it's depth fight. So at this point, like I said, Sakura is kind of like out of the, and now it comes on like who would actually, like, how the fight would go in a three-way, because obviously at this point we're assuming that Naruto and Sasuke are still fighting. So say what you got about Naruto and Sasuke.
You know, at the end of the day, I think what's going to happen is just like normal, like every other fight that they have had. They start in base, they swap hands a bit, and just to kind of like feel each other out, you know. So I think that's probably how it's going to start. But eventually, Naruto enters Sage mode. And I talked about this before, but like he can summon thousands of clones, right? And even if you say that because he doesn't have Kurama anymore, he can't do that anymore, he can still summon like hundreds. I think that's safe. And because he can summon so many clones and they're not all just like spawning right on top of each other, he can control the distance at which they're spawned away. So you could make a legitimate argument that he goes into Sage mode mid-battle because he spawns clones like, you know, 200 meters away that are just sitting there collecting Sage energy and passing it to him. And so he's going to get the upper hand in close range. But at that point, things start to get bad for Naruto because as soon as he gets the upper hand in close range, Sasuke has no choice but to go into the Susanoo, which we talked about this before the call. This is going to be a big point of contention. Loco, I know that you kind of we're talking about this beforehand. Where do you think this goes in terms of him potentially having or not having the Susanoo and all that good stuff?
So basically, you know, me and LightningSnow were talking about this. We actually did a video about EMS Naruto. What the hell? EMS Sasuke and Itachi versus Madara. And in that video, we were kind of stumped on the fact is like, did Sasuke have the perfect Susanoo with just his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Because you could also have the same interpretation that Madara only unlocked the perfect Susanoo once he got the Rinnegan as an Edo Tensei, because he's actually never shown to use it in the manga, like while he's alive at the Valley of the End and all. But he actually heavily implies that he did have the perfect Susanoo in the Valley of the End. He's saying like Hashirama was the only one that could stop me in this form, right? So if that's the case, then first of all, we've established that you can use the perfect Susanoo with just the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And we also know that characters like Madara, like Itachi, have used other forms of the Susanoo while they still have, like, while they have no vision. They had no eyes and he's still using the Susanoo. Itachi was completely blind at that point and he's still using the armored Susanoo. So really, I don't see why losing the Rinnegan would affect him having the perfect Susanoo at all. I think the only argument against that would be, oh, we've never seen him use the perfect Susanoo, and that would just be an argument from ignorance. You like, it's more likely that he would actually have the perfect Susanoo because losing the Rinnegan wouldn't affect that.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
like, if that's the case, then I mean, and I told them like best case he still has this perfect Susanoo. Worst case, it's dialed back to if like when the Susanoo was used to fight Obito, the one that still has legs but no wing. Even still, like one way or the other, his Susanoo is still problematic for Naruto. And so, but if we're leaning on the side of he has the perfect Susanoo, then I mean I don't know. Like,
Sasuke W.
Yeah, I mean Naruto's strong as crap, even in Sage mode. Don't get me wrong. Like like a few Rasen like Sage mode Rasen Shurikens or Tail Beast Rasen Shurikens or whatever, it still could do some damage. But I don't know. It just depends on how strong we think that. Like if we think that they can still penetrate Sasuke's Susanoo.
Well, and here's the thing too. For anybody who thinks that the case would be he has a lower evolution of the Susanoo because he lost one eye, we do know, again, Madara was able to use the Susanoo with no eyes. But even more than that, evidence that like losing access to your eyes doesn't actually necessarily downgrade your Susanoo is from Itachi. Itachi literally goes blind mid-fight while having his Susanoo active in his fight against Sasuke, and he continues to use the same armored version of the Susanoo with his spirit weapons. So it's like all of the evidence in the series points to the idea that even if you lose access to your eyes, you still maintain access to whatever Susanoo that you did have. So as long as you're an Uchiha, of course. So I think like all of the evidence points in that direction. So I have no reason to believe he wouldn't have the perfect Susanoo. And if he does, that's a big problem for everybody involved.
Well, and like we said, we kind of, we're not too sure how Kakashi's stance fight, because after he deals with Sakura, we were deciding whether or not Kakashi would try to get involved in the two-way fight between Naruto and Sasuke or just stay back. If he gets involved in any kind of way, the only thing I see is launching the Fire Style Water Mist to try to launch attacks and try to keep himself safe. But Sage did kind of, point out to me that in character, if we do this Kakashi in character, then he'd probably be a little more smart about it and try to hang back wins. But in all honesty, that's the case. And if we assume that Sasuke wins this, if he's in his perfect, then all we have is a slightly Sasuke still in his perfect Susanoo, dealing with a fresh, semi-fresh Kakashi still, and that's gonna be like, depending on how much damage Naruto's done to the Susanoo by this point, like maybe if Kakashi uses every ounce of his chakra to launch a Shinden, that the way that like he does in the book, the lightning in the icy sky, that looks or sounds similar to Kirin, launches a Shinden that powerful, then who knows? Maybe he can penetrate the Susanoo. But like best case, he breaks the Susanoo and forces Sasuke to the ground. But then you still have a semi-full powered Sasuke dealing with a semi-tired Kakashi and maybe Amaterasu GG. So the way that's looking, and again, like Sage and Loco kind of pointed out to me, that like if we're going all in character, most of these, if not all these characters, are going to know just about everything they have in their arsenal anyway. So that might play a factor in Abel Burns' combat, stance anyway. So the way it's looking to me is that Sasuke kind of comes out on top.
Yeah, well, and honestly, we haven't even touched on the Amaterasu, so like, or Kagetsuchi. Like, if Naruto, you can make an argument that if Naruto goes close range with him and he uses his actual body and not his clones, which I do think he would use his clones because he knows Sasuke's abilities, at least whenever he, activates the Mangekyo, right? So if he activates the Mangekyo in close range, I don't think Naruto is going to pursue him with his physical body because he can activate Kagetsuchi and just one-shot him. I do think that, like we were talking about this before the call, I think Naruto with his Sage Mode and his physical speed should be able to dodge a long-range Amaterasu. But at the end of the day, all that's going to do is give Sasuke time to like get into his Susanoo, which doesn't really take much time. But even if he's launching, these Rasen shurikens imbued with the chakra from the other tailed beasts, it's not really going to matter once Sasuke gets into his Susanoo. So he might be able to fatigue him to some degree. And I do think that Kakashi's battle IQ is high enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to let these two like handle this, and then I'll come in and like clean up. At the end of the day, he's going to be facing a mildly fatigued Sasuke, still with access to his perfect Susanoo, and even with his most powerful version of his Shinden, which literally like knocked him out for a second, albeit he did use a lot of Shinden and stuff like that beforehand. Even with that, I'm just like not entirely sold that he has the AP to actually do any damage there. So the best hope that Kakashi would have, I think we're all in agreement that Kakashi beats Sakura, and then once the perfect Susanoo comes out, Sasuke beats Naruto. So it's a battle between Naruto and Kakashi at the end. And I think we can all agree that like there's no win con for Kakashi here aside from potentially just like fatigue. Like, what do you guys think about that? Because he does have some crazy stamina feats, but I'm not entirely sold on even that win condition, to be honest.
All right, let me in the game, coach. Let me in the game. Okay. All right. So basically, so even though Sasuke lost the Rinnegan, he was still pulling out some absolutely crazy jutsu when he was weaker in Shippuden. Bro, like, clapped his hands and created 9 Shubaku Tensei orbs back-to-back genjutsu to all the Biju, and was still fighting kind of on par with 6-Pass Sage Mode Naruto. This was, like, what, more than a decade back, all the way back in Shippuden. So his chakra reserves shouldn't change. Like, the only reason people made, like, that meme of, oh, Sasuke's always running out of chakra is because he's using the taxing Rinnegan techniques, right? He's hopping dimensions, right? He's pulling out these crazy techniques, right? So now that he doesn't have that massive drain on his stamina anymore, he's gonna be going all day, bro. He's gonna be boxing literally all day. His chakra reserves are not a problem anymore, right? So he could just be spamming Amaterasu. He could camp in his Susanoo, and like we've already established, you wouldn't really be able to prove any of these three, the other three could actually penetrate his Susanoo, right? So like you wouldn't be able to prove that. You just have to make the speculation. Oh, maybe a lava style Rasen Shuriken could. Oh, maybe the purple lightning could. But you can't really say it beyond a shadow of a doubt, because the perfect Susanoo has only ever been like broken through by, like, I think Kaguya kind of broke through it. And that's like a weaker version of Sasuke. And then there's Jigen, who obviously like none of these guys scale to. Yeah. So basically, the perfect Susanoo is GG. And I'd like to talk about Amaterasu real quick. And like some of you might be thinking, oh, like when it has Amaterasu like ever done anything? But normally we've seen that Amaterasu, or at least Inton Kagetsuchi, is faster than Sasuke, right? We saw this during the Kage Summit. I know that was a long time ago, but if you run with this same premise that Inton is like always faster than Sasuke, then Naruto, who should be relative to Sasuke, would really have no way of defending himself against the Inton. He wouldn't really be able to dodge it or anything. Same goes for like Kakashi and Sakura.
Yeah.
And even if you can say that they can dodge that initial Amaterasu strike, if it gets on them, they have no way of getting it off. Like Naruto can't just glob the chakra off. Kakashi just really has no way of getting it off him. And Sakura, unless you can like prove that she can like heal faster, that the Amaterasu burns her, then it's kind of like GG's for her too. And that would just endlessly be burning her unless she like cuts off that part of the body that it got onto her. So really, Amaterasu and Susanoo just kind of solo. That's my take.
No,
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, and like I think like even if you want to make arguments for them being able to counter it, like Kakashi doesn't have the sensory capabilities to sense it coming, so like he would have to rely on just constantly moving to stay out of his direct line of sight, I suppose, or making a bunch of shadow clones, which we know he can do. Same thing with Naruto, but like at the end of the day, like what Sakura gets hit by it, cuts off her arm, and then activates 100 healings. Like how many times can she do that? Like Kakashi does have medical ninjutsu he could potentially use on himself, but he's not regenerating with it. So like if he gets hit on the arm and he cuts off his own arm, he's just gonna like cauterize the wound, and now it's one hand Kakashi versus this Susanoo wielding Amaterasu blasting Sasuke.
Yeah.
His clones could potentially help. I could see him using his sensory capabilities, and then like as he's getting ready to launch the Amaterasu, summoning a clone in front of himself maybe. But like other than that, like he's eventually gonna get hit by it, or Sasuke's gonna fly into the air and just launch Susanoo arrows nonstop like a minigun and destroy the entire terrain. So we've honestly been kind of like holding back on Sasuke for a while, like kind of just like downplaying him for a bit. But realistically, bro's a dog. Like he's got a massive advantage here.
Yeah, and so
My glorious king solos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and we got to think too, just because people may not get this conception that we're doing this as if the gloves are off. Like we're not doing this in character as so far as restraint. We're just saying this is a hypothetical. The gloves are off. They're going toe to toe for the kill. So, because like realistically, yes, in character, Sasuke probably wouldn't go right for the Susanoo to try to kill everybody, but again, like we said, to defend against a Sage mode Naruto, Susanoo is definitely going to be what he has. If he's already in the Susanoo by the time he defeats Naruto, why not just keep himself in the Susanoo to defeat Kakashi? So, again, to wrap it up, like how it goes is Naruto versus Sasuke, Kakashi versus Sakura. Kakashi takes out Sakura, probably in character, as smart as he is, waits out, and one of the other two combatants finish each other off. More than likely, I think Sasuke does have the edge to beat Naruto, and at that point it's Susanoo GG Kakashi. So technically,
so I do have a quick question really quick. What do you guys think happens if we go with the logic that he can't access the perfect Susanoo and it's just a lower version of it? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I am so glad you asked, because I have a backup. I just remembered this. Genjutsu GG. Like, what are we doing?
I was just thinking about that. I was literally just thinking about that, bro.
We on the same wavelength, bro.
We didn't.
Like,
we haven't really mentioned Genjutsu a whole lot. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So you can maybe argue that Naruto has resistance, since technically he still has the other 8-tailed beast inside of him. Like they could possibly break him out, but Kakashi is kind of screwed, and Sakura probably is too. Like Sakura does have like pretty good Genjutsu resistance, like all the way back in part 1. But like is she really breaking out of like EMS fucking Genjutsu? I don't know if she's like that, to be honest. So the only person you can make a case for is Naruto. But other than that, like even if it did come down to like Sasuke versus Kakashi at the very end, and somehow he doesn't have the stamina to keep up the perfect Susanoo, it's still GG's. Like Genjutsu just one shots.
Yeah, I will say, and I would love to hear you guys' opinions on this, because like Kakashi did have the Sharingan for like, 2 decades, right? So like he fought against or sparred against Guy for a super long time, who like developed the fighting style of being able to, oh my gosh, there's so many things, of being able to fight a Sharingan users to avoid their gaze. So I think it is you could make the argument that Kakashi potentially uses that tactic and like watches his feet, but if he is in the Susanoo firing like Susanoo arrows down, there's nothing he could do. But what do you guys about this? If we're just going to take this to its furthest conclusion, Kakashi does have access to one of the gates. So if we are making the argument that he can't access the perfect Susanoo, and maybe he like just gets fatigued and it becomes like a fatigued Kakashi versus a fatigued Sasuke at the end of this fight, bro might just open up the first gate and just blitz him, bro. Like, I mean, I don't think this is happening, but like, it's a real possibility. I'm just hyping my boy
me,
Kakashi.
that would be like the 2 out of 10 Kakashi could probably make it. Like, I'll be honest with you, and that'd be like Kakashi would have to use Shinden with the first gate from a distance to safely get the W. I could definitely see, because Kakashi is a lucky dog when it comes to that kind of stuff. He's able to kind of pull that kind of stuff out of his butt. So like, I could totally see that happening. As far as to answer your question of the lesser Susanoo, I still think that Sasuke does have it at the end of the day. But yeah, because again, like, he has so many things at his disposal: his IQ, Amaterasu, Genjutsu, and it's the fact that he has enough chakra to spam it too. Like, that's like the biggest. Now this Sasuke does have, he still has enough chakra to spam his jutsu without much chakra depletion and never going blind. So yeah, I think he has enough. Susanoo aside, if it gets down to that, just Kakashi, he doesn't have Susanoo anymore, I still think he could probably beat Kakashi.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna do it. Sage, you got anything? Loco, you got anything?
No, I want to thank you for bringing me on the channel again. It's always fun doing videos with you guys. If you guys have not subscribed to Loco and Lightning, make sure you guys go do that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to share it with your friends and everything. But yeah, at the end of the day, Sasuke is just too OP, and the only thing they can hope for is, maybe they all team up against him. I don't know. I'm not even sure if that would work, to be honest. Oh my god.
Loco, what you got? You guys say before we go?
And as for me, I would say like this is kind of ambiguous. We haven't seen too many feats from these guys, especially Kakashi, who hasn't appeared in the Boruto manga yet. They're doing him dirty. But I would like to know what y'all think, so be sure to comment down below. I will be in those comments seeing what y'all got to say about it. Definitely, this is the second time I've come on LightningSnow's channel repping my boy Sasuke. I gotta spread the message, the Sasuke hype, but I'm glad to be on the channel again.
For sure. If you guys have not subscribed to both these guys, make sure you do so. I'll have a link to the channel in the description below. Thank you guys for liking the video. And just so you know, our Kakashi stands in this video, we weren't saying Kakashi wins, so I don't want to hear anybody saying that we were Kakashi stands out here. So, but no, for sure. Like, if you guys have watched the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channels if you haven't already, and until my next one, like Snow.